Hello and welcome back to the podcast, We Are Selling. My name's Lee Woodward, your coach and host, and the author of the Complete Salesperson course. Today's program is brought to you by the Agency Portal, Australia's first listed to settled execution platform. This incredible digital platform allows us to use agency sign, agency AML, the sale funding process, commission funder, agency supplier pay, and agency settlements. Agency settlements is the Pixar partner that allows the real estate digital transaction to exist. Let's get started with today's podcast. Today, we are crossing live to Maroochydore, where Madeline Fabian is speaking to us from Maroochydore with a very deep connection to Sunshine Cove. Madeline, welcome aboard.
Thanks, Lee. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with your background. You came into real estate in 2016. What did you do?
Yeah, I actually was a hairdresser prior and got offered a reception job for basically the same pay rate as slave labour. So I decided, I will do a Monday to Friday job and jump into reception for a small boutique on the sunny coast, where I basically learnt the ropes of everything. So I did reception, EA, property management, Airbnb management, and then that landed me into contracts administration, where I watched many sales agents come and go and then realised if they can do it, surely I can do it. So that's where I am today in sales.
What a sequence, though. What did you learn being a hairdresser?
That you've got to be a psychologist. You're an underpaid psychologist as a hairdresser. You hear everything about those clients and you spend many of hours with them, between 1 hour to 5 hours with one person, and you do learn a lot about somebody in that time. Certainly learned me a lot about customer service. So, and that's, I think, the positives that I took from hairdressing is how much I did love to provide that top-tier service to a client.
Do you know, I didn't know you were a hairdresser before real estate, but no one thing happens in isolation, and some of our best female agents in this country was either a hairdresser or a beautician. And you're right, you've got to be a person who's not afraid of people, and it actually makes complete sense to me now how you've been able to do what you have, and then reception, into the sales administration process and EA. During that curve, you're really in the back end of the business there, not the front end. What did you learn at that time from that?
Well, during my time at that boutique real estate, I learned that there was so much improvement that was needed in terms of structure and process and all of the above. So wanting to provide the best possible service for a client, but not having those tools and technologies and the ability to do so, that's what was so appealing about coming over to Image. Obviously, what they had already there ready to go to plug into, sort of what not to do, well, what to do, but what not to do as well. I've spent 7 years in that business and it was a good 7 years, but you don't realise what else is out there until you sort of are off the opportunity.
Yeah, especially when it's going to be your business, your area, what you're doing. But during that time, you were quite impacted by a female sales manager?
Yeah, Anne Powell, actually. She was originally from Noosa, and she started her role as the manager at that office. And I just saw this light in her. She operated so effortlessly and so calmly, and she was so gentle, and that just was really attractive to me, seeing a female in this industry where, there is quite a lot of ego and arrogance. It was nice to see that, not all real estate agents are that, and to see how she treated her clients, I really resonated with that, and that's what really, I guess, encouraged me to step into the role, because I saw her and how successful she was in just being polite and being herself. I definitely do have her to thank for the opportunity, for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing how people can impact you in that way. And the big learn out of that, and for everyone listening to this, is people dig into arrogance, they give into courtesy. And you've had massive success in working with people who are at different stages of life and you've learned to become a chameleon. Take us into that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a way to put it. You do have to become a chameleon in this industry to be successful in any role. I think the greatest success I've seen is by connecting with people on their level, not being above them or below them. It's coming in and understanding that person and understanding the psychology around these people as well, asking questions and having abiding by your service agreement, having non-negotiables within that service agreement of what you expect if you were in their shoes. My motto is treat everyone how I want to be treated. I feel at the end of the day, my job isn't done until everyone is happy. That's, I suppose, where my success has come from.
Great lesson. Madeline, when we look at the work you're doing, Sunshine Cove seems to me, from an outside perspective, like a witness protection program. Take us into that market. What have you got there?
Absolutely. It is a very niche market. There's around 1,030 odd properties in the area. They're terrace-style homes, so they're very close together. I think that's to my advantage because when I have a sign on the street, everyone can see it in that street. I suppose, just service that area. I understand, appreciate, and am very well educated on that particular area, which certainly helps when I'm at the table because any agent, any John, Dick or Harry could sell a house, but it's not necessarily the house that I'm selling, it's the location because, I've had people in the past tell me, why would you want to sell $1 million house on a 200 square meter block? It makes no sense. But that's where my point of difference comes in. I understand and appreciate it's not just the house you're selling, it's the location, it's the waterways, it's the proximity to everything and the community. So,
well, in being a chameleon and doing what you've done, give us an example of the different styles of people that are buying in Sunshine Cove and what you do to adapt to that.
Because of the location, I'm selling to a wide range of demographics, first home buyers, elderly people. Everybody is buying into this area because of how central it is to all of the local amenities, the beaches, the shops, etc. For me, I have to mesh in with the older people, give them my time. They're retired. They have 2 hours to spare to talk to me. So I give them that time. Whereas, there's other people that are business people. They don't have time. So they want to just get the deal done and don't have time to muck around. So just reading the room and understanding that each person is different. They all require different needs. I've got to really match that energy.
How did you develop that? It's not that it's an unusual skill, but it's something you've got to be prepared to do. And obviously customer service and the customer experience has been a big focus of yours. What got you to be really in tune with that and execute on it?
Naturally, I think I'm just a people pleaser. So for me, again, my job I don't feel like I have fully met my service agreement without ensuring that customer is happy. So even if there is a shift in a person's energy, I'll acknowledge that and ask some open questions and ask them if there's something they can tell me in order for me to ensure that this experience is a pleasant one, because real estate doesn't need to be stressful, although it is and it can be. But I'm here to help them, and I want to understand what their past experiences may be, because, people have bought and sold before. What did they not like in the past, so that I ensure that I'm not doing that to that person again.
Madeline, lead generation, what's working best for you?
Definitely buyer management. I think because my area is quite tight-knit, everybody talks in the area. And so providing that service to the buyers, I'm getting phone calls from buyers left, right and centre saying, Madeline, my friends referred me on to you as the area specialist. And so we were wondering if you've got anything else in the area. Quite often when I get those phone calls, they're genuine calls. So I will use that when I make calls to owners in the area to say, look, I'm working specifically for a particular client who has asked for me to shop around for them to help them find something in this particular area. Part of my process is before I take any property live, I will put it to my VIP database first. This seems to be a point of difference in the area. A lot of sellers really appreciate that before we do sign them up on, with the full marketing package. We set them up for success. So we do take through those VIP buyers that will either make offers on the property or purely just give us real-time market feedback so that when we do go live, we have that. So we're not shooting ourselves in the foot by marketing the property too high or too low.
And Madeline, that's brilliant because that's the customer experience again coming through. People see you working, whereas in real estate, a lot of people have got the jargon and not the behaviour. They'll be in the lounge room saying, I do this, I've got all these buyers. And yet then someone is a buyer of theirs and go, well, you didn't do that with me. And I don't even think you remember that you've never got back to me ever. And this is when we're in training and I use those words. You don't have to be that good to be that good. You've just got to have a connection to the client and care about their destination.
I agree. And do what you say you're going to do. You just got to be genuine. And it's so frustrating to hear that there are so many people that say they have something or have someone, and it turns out that it's just trying to get into a door. Whereas, again, I treat everyone how I want to be treated, and at least I can sleep at night by doing so.
Now, Madeline, you work alone or do you have assistants?
I'm a lone wolf.
Okay, so solo agent, got to keep yourself motivated, and it's good that you're surrounded by great people, but you are in this area by yourself. How do you stay motivated? What's your week look like?
My week it's pretty consistent in terms of I do 3 main streams of prospecting. So I do flyer drop, phone calls, and market report. They're my 3 main streams of, trying to engage more business. So that keeps me pretty busy, to be honest. As you know, my background is admin, so I'm make sure everything, like all my emails are clear, and I'm definitely busy.
And what's your number for stock that you like to be carrying at any given time? What's a good cruising altitude for you that you think, okay, everything's under control, I've got enough to get the next through? What do you do?
Ideally selling 2 a month, like the absolute minimum.
So base of 2, and what's the stretch?
Ideally 7.
Beautiful. And how have you been tracking in the last 6 months?
I've hit my goals, absolutely smashed my goals. I've actually surprised myself in the last, let's say, 12 months. Really proud of what I've achieved, but certainly looking to better in the new year as well.
And congratulations on smashing your goal. What did you do different, or what allowed you to break through?
I think it's more just consistency and time. The first few years starting out is always the hardest. The last 2 years have certainly been really rewarding. I put a lot of energy, time, thought into building my business. And, the last 2 years I've seen that all come to fruition by, people calling me. I'm constantly going out to appointments, but that's because people are asking me out. So, certainly in the last 2 years I have my past self to thank for that.
Your established client campaign is your super fund, and the group's doing some great stuff now with technology. What have you been able to do with Align and the data programs that are allowing all this to be uncovered? How's that been for you?
I've just started using it, I will say, and I am actually starting to really like it. To begin with, new technology, nobody really likes change. So that was the adjustment for me, going from using this CRM and knowing that inside and out and having a nice flow with that CRM to then this new app that I had to relearn. Coming to terms with that once I'd been shown the ropes and having a list in front of me and just being able to call through that list, my efficiency has just improved. I'm making way more calls now than I have in a year. So I'm impressed and grateful that we do have Align because it's keeping me accountable. Yeah.
Very good. And especially with such a focus area that you've got, like 1,030 properties. You get that clean. This is you for life. You've got this wonderful opportunity. You're through the hard part of hunting and getting known to, I am known, I am established. People respect who I am and what I do. You are set just to keep that movement going and repeat that business. What's something you're passionate about for the future that you see as your next step forward or you want to improve upon?
definitely more ownership of my core market. At the moment, I am still ranking number one in the area. It's self-proclaimed, I will say, because Sunshine Cove isn't a suburb yet. But based on the numbers, I'm sitting pretty happy, but I would certainly like to take more ownership of that area. And I think Align will hopefully help me in doing that by, being more consistent with the calls and having an overview of my health score of that ownership as well. So, that's the goal. There's approximately 86 that transact in the area, and I think I've sold approximately 26. So I do have some work to do, but I'm on my way there. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Final question for you, and it's non-business. What do you do away from work?
I have a family, so I like to just go to the gym and spend time with the fam, or a couple of girlfriends, go out for dinner. The finer things in life is what keeps me happy. And I've just recently finished a renovation as well with my partner, so that's certainly kept us busy for the last 18 months.
Well, Madeline, excellent interview. Thank you for sharing your story, and we look forward to seeing you in the training rooms this year.
Thanks, Lee. Appreciate it.